when it comes to the protests becoming riots, you have to understand everyone that's rioting, you have some people that are there fighting for the cause, but then you have opportunists that see an opportunity like, hey, I can loot this store, I can get what I'm trying to get out of it. So you have people that are opportunists that are using this to get what they're trying to get out of it. And then for me, the most disturbing part is dispatching the military, National Guard, whatever, and the Marines. Those people are trained to fight foreign enemies. Law enforcement is supposed to take care of riots when it's dealing with U.S. citizens. And it's really striking that when you have the president that we have, January 6th, we didn't get no National Guard deployed.
That part.
So it
Preach.
makes you beg the question, are you one admitting that you made a mistake January 6th? If so, say that and say going forward, this is what we're gonna do. That ain't what he doing, I know. But I'm just throwing it out there. Or
But David, before
go
you,
ahead.
so we gotta keep it fact structured.
Okay, okay.
They did offer to bring the National Guard in for January 6th. They did offer. They chose not to. So they did
Well, because
offer.
it
Okay.
wasn't necessary.
Remember, these are graham
They
crackers.
did offer. They did offer. They did offer.
Okay.
They did offer. That we got to keep
Okay.
it.
These are graham crackers, not saltines, bro.
So, Norris, are you saying that the current president is doing the right thing?
No. Yes.
She said Norris. Thank you.
Also-
This is what I'm gonna say. What's taken Governor Newsom so long to have all these things in place? I think that's the biggest issue.
What do you mean? What's taking him so long to have things in
Because
place?
he's the one who needs to be deploying those police officers out there. I'm sure there's more.
Well, initially it was just a protest.
Mhm.
That's all right. You
But
have the right to
they've been
protest.
rioting for the past 48 hours.
Well, the rioting, like David said, that's opportunists taking over a situation where now you have caused fear. When there is fear, people are going to react in different ways. People are afraid of just being snatched out of their homes. People, like, there is no trust. So that's why that has went that way, because initially, what it sounds like is now we're putting this back on the governor. No, none of this is being done, is being done correctly to begin with.
So where was because you said it's fear-based, right? So they've been snatching for a few months since January. Let me finish.
No, you got it.
So what makes from January to June, what made June the tipping point for us to now go and protest and then have these opportunities have
people have been protesting before then?
But what made it go from where it was in January to the extreme that it is today? That's my thing. Is like,
so
that's, I feel like
I don't think it has been an extreme. I think now we're just so focused on Los Angeles because it's like, why is he sending in the military?
Mm-hmm.
Now it's being
That's what made it polarizing.
There's been fear from jump. There have been people protesting since jump. There have been principals at schools telling ICE agents, no, you are not coming in here and taking children. No, you are not doing that. So that has been happening. But when you react and you're supposed to be a leader, you have a group, a country of people who are divided, number one, and and half of them they don't trust.
Okay.
So Norris, I want to make sure before I answer, I understand your question. Are you saying what took so long for people to start protesting?
Like what took so long? You know, because we're saying fear, right? Mm-hmm. What took the fear from 0.5 fear in January when it started, and we were already pushing out millions of them, to now we're in June, and now we're getting to this extreme of not just the protest, but now people are looting, people are doing all these things. Y'all seen if you watch all the feeds now, because this is my thing. What's happening isn't right on both sides, right? We can say President Trump is wrong, but we also can say the actions of the people are wrong. And that's why I always try to have the conversation, because two things can be true at the same time. And then I want to understand, because everybody's talking about due process. What process do you need if we know somebody entered the country illegally? Like they illegal. Like we have specified that they're illegal. What due process do you need to give to someone who has been pretty much brought here? We've seen everything that happened in New York.
Okay.
Y'all see they shut up the mayor of New York. Eric Adams was about to tell all the secrets, and we ain't heard from him since. So like that's what I want to know. I feel like both things are wrong, right? Because I feel like, because I don't know if y'all know who they sent in. They sent in the Marines from where's that place?
Yeah, I know they sent in the Marines, and they don't even have no places.
No,
they don't
but
have
those
food,
Marines,
nowhere to stay, nothing.
No, I'm saying
They
those
just sent
Marines those aren't the Marines I would have sent. I don't know if you know people who come from that base. They
The
ain't tied
military
up
shouldn't have been sent to begin with.
so go ahead, Dave.
Sounds misguided children.
Okay. So it's a couple of things.
Yeah.
First of all, I think one of the main things that took so long is, number one, people were waiting for Congress to do their jobs.
Gotcha.
Congress and number one, so it's a lot. Number
Go ahead.
one, they violated court orders, like when they were sending those guys to El Salvador. Judge told them bring those people back. They violated those court orders. Then you also have to, I think the real tipping point is, though, when they start arresting judges and Congress people. You had the one ICE agent that went into like an office. I can't remember exactly where, but there were staffers who were arrested. They weren't given a reason why, and I should have looked it up exactly where it was. But then they were released. They didn't go to jail or anything, but the fact that you show people able to come into a congressman's staff, take their people with no warrant, not showing any identification, you come in unmarked vehicles. So when you get to that level, because that is the part where I think the purpose of it is to let you know, you better fall in line or we can come get you too. Nobody's untouchable. And then, like I say, when you consider Congress as well as the judges, it seems like, because we're supposed to have three equal parts of government. Well, it seems like those two parts of government haven't been able to do anything to stop this. And so then it takes a little while to organize. So then we get people organized and everything. So I think that's what maybe took a long time. But it's a lot of things going on. And then you also have to remember, with this administration, this is just one part. You got all the cuts to federal. They got so many things going on at once. Cutting a bunch of different federal services. The mess between Trump and Elon. The mess going on with Ukraine. It's so much going on at once that you can't really zero in on one thing. And it's something every day. So it's a lot going on. And like I say, as far as the riots, I think in any time you're gonna have people protesting, you're gonna have opportunists. And I believe it's twofold. Number one, you have people who are doing it where they're trying to loot, rob, whatever. But then you also have to remember, if I say I'm on either side, if I want to make this look real bad, if I'm supporting ICE, maybe I might come bring some of my guys and we might cause a ruckus and say, see, these protesters out here acting crazy, but really that was
Because
us.
they're taking our thought off of protesting, and now they're saying, look at you rioters, look at what y'all are doing, and they trying to lump everybody all together. They stopped a plane in Houston and diverted it to pull people off of it. Like,
so can I ask a question? Because I think I asked it like the first time we started this panel. Let's say in a perfect world, if everything was done the way you guys are addressing it, right? Due process.
You mean the way our government is supposed to, like the way the Constitution is written and our rights?
However y'all want. But,
so that's not our rights? Are you saying?
No, I'm saying I'm just trying to finish my statement. Like,
but you're making it sound like however y'all want it to be. It's not how we want it to be.
Because I'm not the one debating that side. I'm just saying, like, if everything was done right, how the Constitution, however you want to word that part, if everything's done right, do you feel like these people should be here?
Well, number one, the process for certain people getting here is difficult as hell. And the way I see it, if someone's here and they've been here, they haven't committed any crimes, they're trying to work, contribute to society. I feel like absolutely they should be here. And then as far as do we want criminals here? Of course not.
Mhm.
If and but the point is, I don't want you doing anything without due process because once you start with them, that's going to set a precedent where then you can do it to anybody else. So the importance of due process. I remember everyone was talking about that guy, Kilmar. Forgive me, I'm gonna butcher his name. Abrego Garcia, I think is his name. The one who he was like in Maryland
Yeah, that yeah.
and been here for all that time or whatever. I think so many people got held up on, well, why are y'all so worried about him? And it's like he's the person that we're talking about. But the point is, once you establish that I can arrest you, deport you, and then deport you to one of the worst prisons in the world
Yeah.
without proving you committed a crime,
Mhm.
that's scary, especially being black. For me, because I'm thinking if you can do that, once you establish and this is okay to do that, then it's very easy once a precedent's been set for you to then apply it in other places.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why we have to defend. Go ahead. I'm sorry. What were you
No,
about to
no,
say, Nars?
no. Go ahead. Go. I'm gonna let you land.
So that's why I believe you have to defend due process. Even like you can even say, I saw something last night. I want to say it was on MSNBC where they were talking about Elon Musk's legal status, and they were like, when he got here, that
Yeah.
he got here on some kind of murky. Basically, he was here either on a student or a work visa, where there was a period when he was in college where he left school and he also wasn't working. So technically, he shouldn't have been allowed to stay. So that could be grounds to deport him. And
Mm.
even though I'm not a fan of some of the things he's done, okay, don't just send him out. Put him through the process like you would anybody else. Because even somebody I disagree with, they should still get the due process because we have to make it where this is the standard. And we can't let, no matter who the person is, no matter what you think they've done, we can't deviate from that standard because it's too easy to then the people in power, the moment they say, well, I don't want this person here, I could just get them out. We can't have that.
And that's Councilman David right there. Boy.
And that was
I
the
like
whole point
this.
of the colonists coming to this country and starting their own thing because they didn't want the crown to just make decisions like that. And that's why we came up with the executive branch and the legislation, all these different things. And we're talking about illegal immigrants. I don't want to say those people, but we're talking about illegal immigrants and criminals. But our sitting president is a convicted felon.
Mm-hmm. And
So,
we want to and we
34 of them.
but we support our convicted felons too. We say free baby Ray to
Not
baby Ray
me.
free back.
I don't know who that is.
No. I'm just giving like like that's what
I know
we
what you mean. I got you.
we do the. It's funny to me that since it's President Trump who's a felon.
Well, no, you brought up the illegal
No,
immigrants.
yeah, but I'm saying, but we what if let's say David ain't a felon, but let's say if David was a felon and he restored his life and he wants to run for president, should we judge that he's a changed person? Should we judge that he's a felon because he wants to go take another seat or he wants to do something different? Everybody has a story, everybody has a past.
I'm not
I feel
judging
like
any felon.
no, I'm saying, but that's what everybody's saying when it comes to like illegal.
So why can't convicted felons vote?
Hey,
If we should give them another chance,
they can.
or is it now because Donald Trump is a convicted felon? Now
No.
we need to start giving everybody a chance.
No,
Because that was never, nobody ever said, well, we should, they did their time. We should give them. No, nobody's ever made this argument.
Amendment 4
They can
allows
vote,
a convicted felon as long as they're done with their probation or parole, and they don't have any restitution, or they don't owe the state anything, or
okay.
owe the government anything.
I want to say Barack Obama and them got that done. If I'm not mistaken,
yeah.
Like they got
no. No.
You think it was before that?
No, it was after that. Fuck, it was Trump. It was Trump.
Isn't that coincidence?
It was Trump.
Hey, but one thing I want to touch on as well.
It was Trump.
And nor in most cases, I would like to hear both sides of your argument. But here's why I don't want like to do the both sides in this instance.
Yeah, go ahead.
Trump's a bad faith actor.
Mhm.
We know 90% of the things he says, they're not either unsubstantiated or flat out lies.
Flat out.
And so when I know I'm dealing with a person that if I give him an inch, he will try to mislead me, I can't listen to your side. I have to just hammer you because because that's how people like him manipulate so many people. Because and this is a perfect example with what's going on in LA. The bottom line is the highest office in the land was doing wrong, and what they're doing violates the very basis of democracy. And so everything else we're talking about, we have to start there. And it's like, no, no, no. You can say these people are wrong. Yes, you got some protesters that are wrong, but the bottom line is what you're doing is wrong, and it's got to stop.
I can appreciate
Like
your.
once we're
I can appreciate
violating
your
court orders,
That's what I'd be trying to say. I feel like
we're about yeah.
yeah. I appreciate your honesty that you only want to see it from one side, and you're saying that. I can respect that. A lot of people don't want to see it from both sides, and it's like we'll never make change if we don't see things from both sides, especially for us as African Americans.
Absolutely.
Like we really have to see things from both sides because right now this really has nothing to do with us, but we're some of the strongest supporters of it.
I disagree.
Well, I disagree.
Of course, y'all always disagree. That's what we're here for. That's why I love. That's why I love you guys on the panel. Yeah,
But,
you
you know, people. So to make a statement like this has nothing to do with us. It's the very same thing. It's like it's setting a precedence. Like if I can just do this without following any democracy, without going based on everything that our country has stood for, then who's to say it's not going to start happening to other people? That once that precedence is being set, and the very same people who are trying to see it from both sides, then when something comes around and it comes back and it hurts them or their family or their loved one, then it's like, oh, I should have thought about that a little bit differently.
And you know, just basically for me, does this affect me at the moment? No, but injustice anywhere is injustice everywhere.
Okay.
Once you're able to do this person wrong, it's not a stretch for then, okay, I'm done with them, on to the next, and on to the next, and on, because this democracy we have is fragile.
Yeah.
And once you have one party, well, not a party, let me not say that. Once you have one branch that overreaches and nothing can, and it feels like almost nothing is either can or will be done about it, then it really, this power, because all this power is imaginary. If we
Yeah.
really stop to think about it, the only thing that gives any branch power is that we believe it has power.
Mm-hmm.
The moment they overreach and nothing's done, like officially, in my opinion, the judicial and the legislative branches have been neutered. It's basically now whatever the White House says goes, and we can't have that.
So what's the solution, guys? What do you guys feel is the solution?
Well, it starts with the people, and this is why I support the protest, because at this moment, the only power we have is our voices. So it starts with us. The next step is to put pressure on these elected officials
Right.
to, hey, if you don't do what you're supposed to do and defend our rights, we're gonna get you out of here. And that's why you're seeing all the town halls, and
Right.
that's why, like I said, you're seeing the protest. We have to put pressure on these elected officials. Now with the judicial part, it goes up to the Supreme Court. I don't know what you can do about them because it's a lifetime
Yeah,
appointment
that's
and there's
right.
basically
Yeah.
no oversight.
Yeah.
But with the other judges, hey, if you're not gonna do what you're supposed to do, we're gonna have to get you out of there. And
And
there was one
and
part, I
now
think it's in.
people more than
Go ahead.
ever, I'm going to cut you off, are paying attention. They are counting down the days for the next time to vote because I don't think anybody really focused on all the parts of our government until now. I don't think it's been a big priority. Like, because you always hear people saying, okay, yes, voting for the president is important, but we got to vote. We got to also vote for this. We got to also vote for this. And now people, like David said, they're having these town halls, and people are looking to see whose seats are coming up, and looking to see who's this, and how can we change some of this power that's in there. People are paying attention to that now. So,
And one other thing on that, one thing that concerns me, I don't know if you guys saw, that bill, that big spending bill that
Mhm.
that
The
I think the
beautiful big
House
deal.
already. I wasn't gonna say it. I wasn't gonna say it. But there's a piece in there that will allow them to take away the funding for certain judges in order to hold someone in contempt and to do whatever they need to, the funding to do what they need to do to pay the officers to arrest when someone in the executive branch isn't following the orders. So if that part passes, I'm wondering, is that going to make, even if we decide to vote the people that
right.
to vote these people out, is that going to effectively make it where it doesn't matter who's in now?
Yeah.
I think it is. I think that is what's going to happen if it
So
passes.
and what do we need to do? That's the part where I'm not an expert on this type of stuff. So, but it would really take organizing and finding out what rights are available to us and what we can do to compel the people that are in these offices to do their jobs.
Yeah. Kind of to piggyback on what Lissa said, people are counting down the days, and I think that's the biggest issue. I think I think President Trump gave the Democratic Party the playbook, and we're not playing the playbook. If y'all notice, when Biden got elected, Trump immediately went on he he immediately went on his campaign. That dude campaigned from the moment he was
Yeah.
president. Biden. That's what we shouldn't be counting down. We should be trying to put somebody that we feel will be the good representation for the Democrat Party or however you vote. You should be trying to put that person in play instead of trying to put out, because I'm hearing you guys say that you see the distractions, right? You see everything that's going on, but we get so busy trying to put out all the little fires, and we don't put
Mhm.
somebody in place. Somebody right now should be campaigning. There should be somebody. What did President Trump do every time something like this happened when Biden was in office? He was the first person on the ground in that area. That's what that Democrat or whoever it is, it could be a Republican or whoever you want, should be in place right now in LA and all these other states, speaking and trying to calm down everything. That's what people fail to realize. He gave the playbook on how do you take over. And then when you get into the seat, you do everything that you said you were going to do, regardless how people look at it. Like that's what we have to
Yeah.
do. Like we have to get somebody who's willing to say, "Hey, man, he did that. This 4 years. This is what I'm doing."
Let me make a correction. When I say count down
Well,
the days, I don't mean just sitting and counting. I mean, when I say counting on the days, I mean they are ready to make a change with their vote.
Mhm.
That's what I mean. I don't mean like there's they're not there's no action behind the
Mhm.
counting. The counting of the days is just like a term
No, I didn't take it that way.
metaphorically to
I
say.
just said I wanted to
But
pick.
also, I'm gonna say I'm not gonna give all this credit to Donald Trump campaigning because, in my opinion, I have no proof of it. But in my opinion, I put a very big asterisk by that last election, and we can go into that a whole nother time to give me some time to do some research.
oh,
Because I'm
listen, we
not
ain't
going to
doing that,
sit
are we?
here and just say, "Oh, Donald Trump did all of this and da 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 da," because he was not he throughout the campaign, they were showing the polls and all of this. Donald Trump never surpassed Kamala Harris like
I'm
that.
not talking about that.
Ma'am,
I'm not talking about
Or
that.
even trying to, I'm
ma'am.
not going to say Donald Trump had the playbook and positioned himself.
He
Like
did.
David said, he's a master manipulator.
That's
I'm not fixing to
cool.
sit here and
But
Well,
listen,
say,
every president has been a master manipulator. Like there hasn't been a president that, no matter what party it is, that hasn't manipulated the party. Right?
I
yeah.
receive what you're saying, but I'm gonna disagree that they are like Donald Trump.
So,
I'm just gonna disagree with that.
so
They,
I think what Norris is talking about is more or less on every issue. Trump would hammer how the Democrats are doing wrong. Whether he was
Everything that
telling
comes
the
out of his
truth,
mouth is something negative about somebody else.
absolutely.
Everything.
Now, I wouldn't say the Democrats need to do what Trump does specifically, but what I will say is a lot of Democratic leadership is weak. They take too long,
Extremely.
and you have too many Democrats that are willing in order to just keep things going. Well, yeah, like I can't remember what it was exactly, but there was something that the Republicans were trying to push through like very early in Trump's presidency. And you got I'll do better getting my facts together. But Chuck Schumer just told everybody, well, we're just gonna go with it because if the government gets shut down, everything is gonna be worse. But it's like you're bowing down, you're drinking the
Yeah.
poison, and it's like you basically just saying I'd rather die tomorrow than go forward today.
Yeah.
And it's
Well,
like
real quick to jump in, I never said a party. I never said Democrat or Republican because there are some Republicans who don't agree with how things are being handled either. So I'm not saying a
yeah,
specific party. I'm saying we need to abide by the Constitution and our democratic rights and the whole thing that the United States was supposed to be founded upon to begin with. I don't care what party it is.
well, on this part, I don't think Norris was talking about
It's okay, Dave.
governing. I think he was more or less talking about messaging.
Yeah, it's
The
okay.
way
Well, it ain't about a party to me.
Yeah,
It's about who's
yeah,
gonna do the right thing.
that's what I kept saying. I kept saying that I don't care who it is.
yeah.
You have to see what's going on. Like, and right now, like he said, you don't have any. You gotta find that person. I always try to look more at like your independent people, those people that you really don't, because it becomes a two-party race at the end of the day.
Yeah.
But a
Yeah.
lot of times we have some good candidates that are actually they just can't afford to
Right,
to put on
right.
media and stuff like that. But
So with the independence, it's tough because I agree. A lot of times I like independence, but it almost feels like a waste of a vote because
yeah,
I almost always know
It's not gonna
that
go
person's
anywhere.
not going to get
Yeah.
it.
I wanted Vivek Ramaswamy.